President Donald Trump has officially addressed the controversy surrounding a deleted Truth Social post involving former President Barack Obama, and his response from Air Force One has directly contradicted the narrative coming from his own press team. While speaking with reporters on Friday, the president stated firmly that he did not make a mistake, dismissing calls for an apology regarding a video that has sparked significant backlash from both sides of the political aisle. This refusal to back down comes at a moment when key Republican allies are publicly distancing themselves from the content, creating a complex internal conflict within the party that raises questions about how the White House is vetting its social media strategy. To understand the friction here, we have to look at the timeline of events that unfolded over the last 48 hours. The controversy centers on a video shared to the president's Truth Social account on Thursday. The clip in question utilized footage and audio associated with The Lion King, specifically the song The Lion Sleeps Tonight, but reportedly superimposed the faces of Barack and Michelle Obama over the bodies of primates. The imagery immediately drew condemnation for utilizing tropes that have historically been used to dehumanize African Americans. However, when pressed by a journalist on whether he would apologize for the post, President Trump's response was a flat denial of wrongdoing. He told reporters, "No, I didn't make a mistake," explaining that he reviews thousands of items and only looked at the beginning of this specific clip. According to his statement, he viewed the video as a takeoff on The Lion King and characterized it as a very strong post in terms of voter fraud, linking the imagery back to his ongoing disputes regarding the 2020 election results. This is where the situation becomes complicated for the administration's messaging. The president's defense, that he didn't watch the end of the video, stands in stark contrast to the initial defense mounted by his press secretary. Before the president spoke, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt issued a statement defending the post entirely, describing it merely as an internet meme depicting President Trump as the king of the jungle and Democrats as characters from the movie. She urged the press to stop the fake outrage. However, this defense was almost immediately undercut by a separate statement from a White House official who claimed that a staffer had erroneously made the post and that it had been taken down for that reason. This creates a confusing, triangulated narrative. One statement claims it was a harmless meme, another claims it was a staffer's error, and the president himself claims it was a strong post that he simply didn't finish watching. The tension within the party became palpable when Senator Tim Scott, a prominent Republican and vocal supporter of the president, weighed in. Scott took to social media to express his dismay, stating he was praying the video was fake, and labeling it the most racist thing he had seen come out of this White House. Scott, who endorsed Trump for the 2024 race, publicly urged for the video's removal. Following this public rebuke, President Trump noted that he had spoken with Scott privately, asserting that the senator was great and understood that 100%, suggesting a resolution behind closed doors that hasn't fully played out in public view. This incident is not occurring in a vacuum. It revives memories of the birther controversy, where questions regarding former President Obama's eligibility to serve were a central theme of political discourse for years. By engaging with content that critics argue relies on harmful historical caricatures, the current discourse has shifted rapidly from policy debates to questions of conduct and racial sensitivity in political messaging. The fact that the post was deleted suggests an acknowledgement of its volatility, yet the president's public refusal to apologize signals a strategy of doubling down rather than conceding to public pressure. As the news cycle moves forward, the focus is likely to shift from the video itself to the internal dynamics of the White House communication team. With conflicting explanations coming from the president, his press secretary, and anonymous officials, the question remains: was this a strategic signal to a specific base, a failure of vetting protocols, or a genuine misunderstanding of the video's full content? How this impacts the president's relationship with key allies like Senator Scott in the long term remains to be seen. If you want to understand how social media gaffes have historically impacted polling numbers, Click the video on screen now where we break down the data behind political controversies.